Please, he said softly, almost pleading, don't go. We can fix this. I just need time. Olivia pulled back, shaking her head. I gave you time. I gave you everything I had, and it still wasn't enough. I can't do this anymore, Oscar. I can't keep losing myself in a place where I was never meant to be. With that, she stepped past him, her suitcase rolling behind her.
Olivia had never set foot in such a place before. At 32, her life had been a series of struggles. The glittering chandeliers above her, the polished marble floors beneath her feet, the faint scent of imported perfumes in the air. It all felt like another world. A world she had only glimpsed in glossy magazine covers or from afar when tinted jeeps carrying wealthy families sped past her on Lagos roads. She had never served in a hole so grand, never brushed shoulders with people who wore wealth like a second skin. Her being here tonight was nothing short of a miracle. Madame Chieri Obi, the renowned caterer, had first encountered Olivia at the small bakery near Ojota, where Olivia had been helping her aunt. She had taken on the work out of desperation, eager to survive, to claw her way through the weight of debts pressing down on her. What caught Madame Chinyeri's eye that day was not only Olivia's diligence, but the quiet dignity she carried despite her circumstances. Her blouse might have been faded, her slippers worn thin, but she was always clean, always careful, always composed. Pressed for extra hands ahead of the prestigious charity gala, Madame Chinyeri approached her with an offer. "Come and help me serve," she said. "You'll get something small for your pocket." Olivia had accepted at once, her gratitude outweighing the fatigue of survival. She didn't know it then, but this evening, this haul, this chance would mark the beginning of a shift in her story. Now, clad in a crisp white uniform that smelled faintly of starch, she moved among Lagos's elite with a borrowed grace. Her heart pounded, not just from the fear of making a mistake, but from the surrealness of it all. And then she saw him, Oscar Okuru. Tall, striking, his suit perfectly tailored, he carried himself like the room belonged to him. His deep laughter rumbled low as he exchanged greetings, his eyes sharp yet warm. He was nothing like the men she knew, the struggling artisans, the debt-ridden traders, the men who barked at her in impatience. This was a man who seemed carved from a different existence. Olivia's breath caught. For one fleeting second, she allowed herself to imagine. What if she belonged here, in this space, beside a man like him? The thought was so sweet, so dangerous, she quickly shook it away. "Stop it, Olivia." She reminded herself she was only here by mercy, just an extra pair of hands carrying trees. Men like Oscar did not see women like her, not unless it was to dismiss them with a wave. Yet, her eyes betrayed her, stealing glances whenever she thought no one noticed. A crush bloomed in her chest, unwelcome yet uncontrollable, longing for a world that wasn't hers, and conflicted by the shame of even daring to want it. The event took an unexpected turn when a little girl of about 12 suddenly caused a scene. Standing beside a glamorous lady in a sequin gown, she began to fling food at the waiters and wailing uncontrollably. The woman at her side, clearly flustered, tried to hush her, but her irritation only showed through the forced smile she wore. Guests shifted uneasily, murmuring in low tones as the commotion dragged on. Some glanced at the child with pity, others at the lady with thinly veiled disapproval. Olivia, balancing her tray of drinks, watched for a moment before setting it down. She crouched gently before the girl, her tone calm and warm. "Hey, sweetheart. It's okay. No need to cry." The girl glared at her through tears, but something in Olivia's voice made her hesitate. "Let's take a deep breath together," Olivia continued softly, her hand resting lightly on the child's shoulder. "Want to try?" After a moment's pause, the girl obeyed, inhaling shakily. Olivia's smile was reassuring.
You're doing so well. See? It feels a little better now." Gradually, the sobs subsided and her shoulders relaxed. It was only then that whispers rippled more audibly across the hall. Whispers that revealed what Olivia herself had not realized. The child was Sophia, Oscar Okoro's daughter, and the irritated woman at her side was Priska, his glamorous girlfriend. From across the room, Oscar's gaze lingered on the scene. For the first time in years, someone had managed to reach his daughter. And though admiration stirred in him, he forced himself to look away, unwilling to let it show.
A few days later, Oscar sat at his mother's dining table, his mind consumed by Sophia's escalating behavior. His mother, a formidable woman who took pride in her family's name, stared at him with disapproval. "You can't let Sophia continue like this," she said sharply. "She needs structure and a mother figure. If you don't remarry as soon as possible, I would withhold your inheritance." "Sophia needs time," he argued. "You've had enough time," she snapped. "If you don't want to do what's best for her, then I will. Find a wife or I'll make the decision for you." Later, determined to fix things, Oscar met with Priska at a high-end restaurant. He slid a small velvet box across the table, his voice steady but uncertain. "Priska, I think it's time. Let's get married. We can make this work for Sophia." Priska stared at the ring, her expression shifting from surprise to doubt. "Oscar, I can't," she said, pushing the box back toward him. "I thought I could handle this, but Sophia, she's too much. I can't handle her tantrums. I'm sorry." She walked away, leaving Oscar alone with the ring and a heavy heart. Once again, he felt like a failure, unable to bring peace to his daughter's life. But as the days passed, Oscar couldn't stop thinking about Olivia. Her warmth and patience had brought a rare calm to Sophia, something he desperately needed. With his mother's help, he tracked her down at her aunt's small bakery, where she worked part-time. When Oscar walked into the bakery, Olivia looked up, surprised. "Mr. Okoro," she said, wiping her hands on her apron, "what brings you here?" "Call me Oscar," he said, his tone softer than usual. "I wanted to thank you for what you did for Sophia at the gala. I've never seen her respond to anyone like that. It meant a lot to me." Olivia smiled modestly. "She's a sweet girl. She just needs patience and understanding." Her words lingered in Oscar's mind until days later, he made a decision he never thought possible. He called her to his office, his nerves betraying his usually composed demeanor. When Olivia arrived, she looked curious but apprehensive. Oscar paced the room before finally stopping to face her. "I need you to marry me," he blurted out. Olivia froze, her eyes wide with shock. "Excuse me?" "It's not what you think," he said quickly. "This isn't about love or romance. Sophia needs stability, a mother figure. You've already shown you can connect with her in ways I can't. It will only be for 3 years, a contract, nothing more. Please, Olivia, will you do it?" Her mind raced with disbelief. Marriage to Oscar. She barely knew him, yet the undeniable pull she felt toward him was unmistakable, like a teenager caught in a crush. Her thoughts also lingered on Sophia's behavior that day, the image of the tear-streaked face and the rare calm she brought to the young girl. This could be her chance to truly make a difference, and maybe, just maybe, he might even fall in love with her someday. Taking a deep breath, she met his gaze and said, "I'll marry you." Relief flashed across Oscar's face before his professional demeanor returned. "Just remember," he said firmly, "this is a contract, nothing more. No love,
just stability for Sophia. Olivia nodded, forcing a small smile despite the ache in her chest. I understand, she said softly. But as she walked out of his office, a quiet hope lingered in her heart. Maybe, just maybe, love could grow in the most unexpected of places.
At the grand wedding venue, Olivia stands at the altar, her heart full of hope. She knows the marriage is a contract, but she can't help wishing that one day Oscar might love her. She's willing to wait, believing that with time, things will change. Oscar, however, remains emotionally distant, his face stoic. The guilt over Ella, his mother's ultimatum, and the pressure of dealing with Sophia weigh heavily on him. He stands beside Olivia, his mind elsewhere, the coldness between them palpable. Back at Oscar's house, Olivia continued to care for Sophia with unwavering dedication. She helped with homework, prepared delicious meals, and offered emotional support whenever the young girl needed it. Her nurturing presence transformed the house into a warm, inviting space, far from the empty shell it had once been. Yet, despite all her efforts, Oscar remained distant, his cold, stoic demeanor forming an impenetrable barrier between them. Olivia was undeniably attractive, her beauty soft yet striking. However, she lacked exposure to the sophistication and polish that Oscar might have admired. Determined to bridge the gap, she put great effort into enhancing her appearance. She adorned herself in carefully chosen clothes, dresses that hugged her figure modestly but flatteringly. She experimented with hairstyles, often spending hours trying new braids or weaving in extensions to enhance her look. Her makeup, though simple, was thoughtfully applied with soft hues that highlighted her smooth skin and expressive eyes. Each morning, as she stood before the mirror, she hoped that her transformation would catch Oscar's attention. Her reflection reminded her of the lengths she was willing to go to for his approval. But Oscar, preoccupied with his own thoughts and the practicalities of the arrangement, failed to notice her efforts. To him, their marriage was a solution to his mother's ultimatum and a way to ensure stability for Sophia. He saw Olivia as a dutiful wife and a caring stepmother, but he kept their relationship strictly professional. The warmth and softness Olivia tried to exude were met with his detached professionalism, leaving her longing for a connection that seemed perpetually out of reach. As time went by, Oscar's ex-girlfriend, Priska, re-entered their lives with a commanding presence that was impossible to ignore. Priska was everything Olivia was not: confident, worldly, and effortlessly glamorous. She carried herself with the assurance of someone who had always been the center of attention. Her laughter was loud, her words sharp, and her charisma undeniable. From the moment she walked into Oscar's home, she seemed to dominate the space, leaving Olivia feeling like an invisible bystander. Priska wasted no time in asserting her superiority. Her comments were subtle but cutting, laced with an air of condescension that made Olivia feel small. "How sweet," Priska remarked one evening, her voice dripping with feigned kindness. "You've really found your role here, haven't you? Oscar does have a thing for people who know how to be useful." The words were spoken with a smile, but their sting lingered long afterwards. Olivia tried to brush it off, pretending the words didn't bother her, but they gnawed at her insecurities. She wondered if Priska saw her as nothing more than a placeholder, a temporary fixture in a life that still had room for someone like her. Whenever Priska's jabs cut too deep, Olivia looked to Oscar for reassurance, hoping he might defend her. But Oscar dismissed the remarks with a wave of his hand, laughing them off as harmless banter. "Don't take her too seriously," he would say, unaware or perhaps unwilling to acknowledge how deeply those words pierced Olivia's fragile self-esteem. 2 weeks after Priska's return, Olivia found herself walking past the closed door of Oscar's study late one evening. She wasn't eavesdropping intentionally, but the sound of her name stopped her in her tracks. Pressing herself against the wall, she listened, her heart pounding. Inside, Priska's voice carried a teasing tone. "So, Oscar, how long is this arrangement of yours going to last?" Oscar sighed, his voice calm, but heavy with resignation. "Marrying Olivia was a practical decision, Priska. It's for Sophia's sake. She's adequate for the role I needed her to fill. Beyond that, she means nothing to me." The words struck Olivia like a physical blow. Her knees felt weak, her breath caught in her throat, and her chest ached with an intensity that made her clutch the wall for support. Her world seemed to tilt on its axis as the truth she had fought to ignore was laid bare before her. She had clung to the fragile hope that in time, Oscar might come to see her more than just a convenient choice, that he might grow to appreciate her efforts, perhaps even love her. But his word ripped that hope away, leaving a gaping void where her dreams had once been. As she stood there, struggling to process what she had heard, tears welled up in her eyes. The weight of Oscar's indifference settled over her like a suffocating blanket, and for the first time, Olivia felt the full extent of her isolation. She had given her all to this marriage, only to discover that her place in Oscar's life was as empty as his heart was cold. 3 days later, they attended a gala together. It was meant to be a night of prestige, an exclusive corporate dinner, where Olivia hoped, perhaps naively, that Oscar would acknowledge her not just as Sophia's stepmother, but as his wife. She had spent hours preparing. The teal gown hugged her frame with understated elegance, her hair swept into a soft updo, a silver necklace glinting at her collarbone. She looked every bit the part of a woman who belonged by his side. When they entered the ballroom, heads turned. Some eyes warmed with approval, others narrowed with quiet hostility. Priska was already there. Of course she was. And she looked breathtaking, draped in a scarlet off-shoulder gown, champagne glass poised delicately between manicured fingers. She was the kind of woman who owned every room she walked into. When her eyes landed on them, her smile stretched thin and sharp. Her heels clicked against the marble as she closed the distance. Well, the man of the hour and the wife. The way she said it made wife sound like nanny. Olivia forced a polite smile, extending her hand. "Nice to see you again." Priska ignored it. Instead, she leaned in. Her breath brushed Olivia's ear as she whispered, just loud enough, "You've polished up nicely. No apron tonight, no knockoff dresses either. Big step up." The sting was immediate. Olivia's hand faltered in the air before she could steady herself. And then, Oscar chuckled. "Priska," he said, shaking his head, smiling in that familiar way. "You haven't changed." Olivia turned to him, waiting, needing even a token defense, a small rebuke, anything. Nothing came. Just that smile between old companions, easy, complicit. And in that moment, the truth pierced her. He was ashamed of her. Later that night, in the bedroom, the silence between them was heavier than the evening's laughter. Olivia stood at the foot of the bed, her hands trembling. "Why didn't you defend me?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. Oscar was loosening his cufflinks, not even glancing her way. "It was a joke." "It wasn't a joke to me. She belittled me in front of everyone and you let her." "I didn't want to cause a scene." Her chest tightened. "I was the scene," she said bitterly. "Do you even care how humiliating that was?" Finally, he looked up. His face was distant, detached. "I told you from the start, Olivia. This was never about love or appearances. You are here for Sophia, and you have done well. But that's all." Her breath caught. "All?" she whispered. "So
I'm nothing more than a glorified babysitter in a nice dress. Silence, no denial, no comfort, nothing. And somehow, that silence, flat, uninterested, cut deeper than cruelty could ever cut. Later, in bed, Olivia called towards the wall with her back to him. A single tear slid into her pillow. It was not his coldness that broke her. It was the realization that she had been fighting, aching, begging for a place in a man's life who never intended to give her one. Her whisper dissolved into the dark, meant for no one but herself. I'm tired of begging to be seen.
1 week later, on a quiet afternoon, Olivia was tidying the living room. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan above. As she dusted the furniture, her eyes fell on the wooden sideboard beneath a large gold-framed photo of Oscar and Ella, smiling, radiant, forever frozen in time. On the sideboard sat a worn leather-bound Bible. Its edges were frayed, its pages yellow with age. Olivia saw it every day, placed there like a shrine. No one had ever said it belonged to Ella, but she could feel it did. It had the weight of something sacred, untouchable. But today, dust had gathered beneath it. The polished wood had lost its shine. Olivia hesitated, then carefully lifted the Bible with both hands, holding it like something fragile. She set it gently on the couch cushion and reached for her cloth to wipe the sideboard clean. Just cleaning, that was all. She didn't hear the footsteps until a sharp cry pierced the air. "What are you doing?" Sophia stood in the doorway, her little chest rising and falling fast, eyes wide with horror. Before Olivia could answer, the girl rushed forward, snatched the Bible from the couch, and clutched it to her chest. "Don't touch it! Don't you ever touch it!" Her voice shook, but her grip was firm. "Sophia, I didn't mean to. You are not my mommy," she cried, eyes blazing. "This is hers, only hers. You can't touch it." The words hit Olivia like a blow. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. She reached out, but Sophia pulled back, clutching the Bible tighter, as if Olivia wanted to steal it. Heavy footsteps filled the room. Oscar entered, his face already tense. His eyes went from Sophia's tear-streaked face to Olivia's trembling hand, then to the freshly wiped sideboard. His expression hardened. "What's going on here?" he demanded. Sophia ran to him, clutching his legs. She touched it, she sobbed, pressing the Bible against her chest. Oscar's glare swung to Olivia like a whip. "Is this true?" Olivia's voice broke. "No, I wasn't. I only wanted to clean." "You should have known better," Oscar cut in coldly. "Some things are not yours to touch. This house, everything in it, still belongs to Ella." Olivia's lips trembled. "Oscar, I was only..." "Enough!" His voice cracked like thunder. "Never touch anything that belonged to Ella. Do you hear me? Never." Sophia buried her face in his shirt, sobbing. Oscar softened only for her, stroking her hair. "Don't cry, my jewel. No one will take your mother from you, not while I live." Then his gaze snapped back to Olivia, hard and merciless. "If you cannot respect her memory, then respect this house. Don't make me say it again." Olivia lowered her head, tears burning her eyes. She wanted to explain, to beg him to see reason, but his face told her he wouldn't listen. Not now, maybe not ever. So she stood there, silent and trembling, while Oscar lifted his daughter into his arms and walked away, leaving her behind with nothing but the rag in her hand and the ache of rejection. As Olivia walked away, the weight of her decision to leave settled in. Alone in her room, sitting on the edge of the bed, Olivia whispered to herself, "I can't keep doing this. I deserve better." She sat in the quiet of her room, sunlight streaming through the window,
the golden rays doing little to ease the heaviness in her chest. The events of the day looped in her mind relentlessly. Sophia's tear-filled accusations, the venom in Oscar's words, and the weight of her own helplessness. The words, "never touch anything that belongs to Ella," rang over and over, each syllable cutting deeper. For months, she had convinced herself that her place in this household would grow into something real. That perhaps, given time, she could break through Oscar's walls and become more than just a placeholder in his life. But today had shattered that illusion. She had endured so much. Humiliation at the gala, dismissive silences, Priska's cruelty, his laughter, his silence, and now this, being scolded in front of his daughter like a servant, not even a servant, a trespasser. Her gaze landed on her sparse belongings in the room, a stark reminder that she had never truly belonged here. The room felt more like a cage now, a holding place for someone whose purpose had already been fulfilled. Olivia inhaled sharply, steadying herself as she rose from the bed. Enough! I can't endure this anymore. I can't keep sacrificing my dignity and self-worth for a man who can't see me, really see me, or for a family that treats me like an outsider. She pulled a small suitcase from the corner of the room and began packing her clothes, each item folded with methodical precision, though her hands trembled with suppressed emotions. Anger, sadness, betrayal, regret. It was all there, bubbling beneath the surface, but she pushed it down. She couldn't afford to fall apart. Not now. The sound of Oscar's footsteps approaching her door jolted her. She paused, mid-fold, her heart racing. When his voice came, it was quieter than she had expected, tinged with something almost hesitant. "Olivia, can we talk?" She stared at the door, weighing her options. She didn't want to talk. What was left to say? But leaving without confronting him, without laying bare the hurt he had caused, felt wrong too. With a deep breath, she crossed the room and opened the door. Oscar's eyes immediately dropped to the suitcase in her hand, his brow furrowed, his expression a mixture of confusion and panic. "What's this?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. "I'm leaving," she said simply, her voice steady but soft. Oscar's confusion deepened. "Leaving? Why? Where would you go?" Olivia met his gaze, her own filled with quiet resolve. "Anywhere but here," she replied. "I can't stay in a place where I'm not wanted." Oscar's expression hardened, defensive. "Not wanted? Olivia, I never said—" "You didn't have to," she interrupted, her tone sharper now. "Your actions, your words, they've said it for you. I was never more than a solution to your problems, a convenient answer to your mother's threats and Sophia's tantrums. But I'm a person, Oscar. I deserve more than this." Oscar's jaw tightened. "Olivia, it's not that simple. I never meant to hurt you. You thought what?" She snapped. "That I'll be content with scraps? That I'll keep pretending this was enough? I'm done pretending. I'm done hoping for something that will never come." Her voice broke on the last word, but she refused to let the tears fall. Not now, not in front of him. Oscar reached out, his hand brushing against her arm. "Please," he said softly, almost pleading, "don't go. We can fix this. I just need time." Olivia pulled back, shaking her head. "I gave you time. I gave you everything I had, and it still wasn't enough. I can't do this anymore, Oscar. I can't keep losing myself in a place where I was never meant to be." With that, she stepped past him, her suitcase rolling behind her. Oscar didn't move, didn't try to stop her again. He stood frozen, the weight of her words sinking in as the sound of her footsteps faded. The door clicked shut, the sound final and deafening in its simplicity.